for... I'm going to Facebook Live. Record?
Yeah.
Alright.
This is a really advanced lamp.
The touch thing, they're pretty common.
Yeah.
Are they? Three stages of thing.
So advanced.
You're going to fucking short the entire house up, please. That's fine. It's Chani. You remember Chani? Chinese guy who did us in there. He's down there tonight, mate, so he'll be on the door, but I'll make sure that he knows you're coming down. Do you want a table?
This is a neurological test called Babinski, where they get a key. And they use me for a bad thing.
That's horrible.
I know, like they do it with the key, which is even worse.
You meant to curl your toes up.
I think if you curl them
Down, you got brain damage.
yeah.
Heard that before.
Okay. Did they do it to you and
I'm going to see if I can...
well, if you can
Yeah.
beat the test.
Got brain damage.
If you do that to neurologists, they'll just be like,
Why the fuck?
I got you.
Possible? Thank God. Thank God.
Oh man. I'm really struggling. I don't know how you guys are.
How are you been asleep with me?
I might find a sheet or I'll sleep under the towel.
You'll sleep under the towel?
Well, after I listened to the Brian Johnson Sleep 101 today.
Yeah, nice.
Light clothes, black.
Hey, it's Brian here. I'm really excited.
Right.
To talk to you about
teacher.
Sleep 101. Habits 101.
Willpower.
Masterpiece days.
Your legs. Look, that foot there, it's so long, it looks like it's fucking... It looks like you're like...
Well, I am.
Well, yeah, but it's... You know what I mean?
We're just gonna... Johnny, mate, why are your legs so long?
Yeah.
Right.
What we do, we're doing a thing. What is it? What do I do? No, hang on, you need to explain it.
Okay, hands overhead,
And then...
breath in to engage the lats. Yeah. And then exhale through the nose, inhale through the mouth at the top. So.
And it's... Oh, hold on.
Okay.
That's
good, yeah.
Mine's so good.
Give it some room.
Is it how many? 3 sets of 10?
Oh my god.
One set of 30, and then think you've something great. And then another set of 30.
It says 60 reps in total.
So you do a set of 30, think of something you're grateful for.
And then for
And then
10,
do
10
it.
seconds, like slow, normal breaths.
And then do another set of 30.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the noises you were making. Actually, you feel
I'm hot now.
brilliant.
I'm hot now.
Stifling the
Feel
laughter.
good though.
I feel alright, yeah.
I feel pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good.
Have this delicious, refreshing drink. So, this.
I think the hat's all. I feel amazing.
That's good. Buzzy.
Do you feel buzzy?
Oh, that's not a wasp. That's a girl. It's a moth. Alright, here we go. Thanks, Chris, for this wonderful gift. Oat and fruit breakfast. Chris bought this so that I could eat it.
I'm gonna have to take the hat off, man. Because otherwise, it will be the question that we get. Why is he wearing a hat? Let's see you drinking the fruity drink.
Okay, thanks, Chris. This is the main thing I'm annoyed about is that I'm going over my target for the day. Right. Okay. Sweet, subtle, fruity scent. Instant assault. One of the worst texture than I've even like. Sometimes you think, let's imagine the worst case scenario for how bad something can be. Worse than that. Taste doesn't redeem it.
Look at he grimaces. Johnny, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to try some. Two big
it's really awful, Chris.
sips of it.
I can't smell anything.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just take a nice big gulp.
It smells pretty good.
Wrap your lips and suck and take a nice big gulp. Come on.
Oh man,
Just try another one.
that is genuinely awful, isn't it?
Try another one. Nice big one. Get it from the bottom. If you squeeze it from the bottom first, it's easier when it gets. It's like a toothpaste tube.
God damn it.
Chris, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Did you buy one,
Yep.
try it, think that's horrible, I'm going to buy another one so Yusuf can have it, or did you just buy two?
No, I bought one, and then like Highland.
Premeditated, basically.
Yeah. Have you seen the one with Jet Li? Like he kills everyone else, and it makes him stronger. I thought if I shared the pain that I'd gone through of having that
That it would be. Oh,
Are you gonna? I didn't wipe it off when you drank it.
that's true. How could you anticipate it from the?
Because I saw you. But you still wipe. You still doing it.
Well,
just have like get it from the bottom, and get a big one.
two big ones.
Just do the rest of it.
Get it.
Mm. Taking every ounce not to rash. Really bad.
But it's not. Isn't it weird that it's not the taste? It's just the texture.
It's got quite a vommy aftertaste. I've had, and we've both had all kinds of awful supplements back when no one flavoured their supplements. Hydrolyzed casein, leucine. That tops it, and it's intended as a nice thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be enjoyable.
Is it a breakfast substitute?
It's pretty much. It's like cold, fucking cold porridge in a Calypso Sun. Whatever.
It's like Weetabix have brought out a drink.
But that's just a milkshake. Have you tried that? It's just a milkshake.
So it's not just. I just imagine.
No, it's not. It's not Oatly. And On can do a yogurt pot that's got like little oats and stuff in it, and that's quite nice. But that.
How many of these breakfast products have you tried?
Well,
sounds like quite a few. Sadists.
It is not me.
I thought I can at least finish it for the camera, but I will be sick, and I think it's gonna. Yeah, okay.
Ruin everything.
YouTube,
okay, well we can start
Genuinely
a podcast.
Really bad.
So we've all just got a new app called Moment.
Have you got it as well?
I got it as well.
Did you?
Oh, it's gonna be crucifying to see how.
You're gonna be. You'll show me up. I think.
You Zen bastard.
I'm not a big phone user. I'm more of a computer user.
I am looking at these numbers now since Friday, and it's making me feel.
Okay, so today, what's your usage?
Just to clarify what this actually is an app that monitors everything that you do on your phone, all of the apps that you use, how many times you pick it up. What else?
Well, when you've used it for long enough, it gives you a per day average, a per week average, pickups per day, pickups per week, a weekday and a weekend average. It gives you the longest time you've been without your phone, the longest time you've been with your phone, when you look at it first in the morning, when you look at it last at night.
Is this the pro? Are these the pro features?
I don't think so. I think.
Have you bought Pro though?
I don't even know there was a Pro.
I'm fairly certain you must have. You've upgraded.
Yeah.
You have, haven't you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got.
I knew that you did. I knew that you did. Always got to get the best stuff.
Yeah. Purchased. Don't even remember doing it.
Is it
terrible?
Is it
so bad?
Is the app weight and load tested, and does it come with a Leco plate?
I don't even know where you've got that joke from.
You're listening to the Propane Fitness Podcast, your ultimate resource for fat loss and muscle gain, with none of the gimmicks. With your hosts, Yusuf and Johnny. Simple rules, dramatic results.
Right. Okay.
So I would actually recommend getting Pro.
Right. Well, yeah. Obviously.
The code Johnny123. No, I'm joking.
Right. So this app tracks how much you use your phone. I am the worst person I know with using my phone, in that it is never out of my hand. So on Friday, you told me to get it at about 2 p.m. Between then and midnight, I used it for 6 hours. It was on screen 6 hours and 41 minutes. On Saturday, I spent my entire day working, 5 hours and 52. Sunday, 8 hours 2 minutes. Monday, 9 hours 52 minutes. Tuesday, 9 hours 26 minutes, and today 6 hours 24, and it's 10 p.m. And today I've been in meetings for the majority of the day.
So have you got that little
No, I haven't got the Pro. Stop showing off your extra features.
You've got the little horn in the corner.
Yeah,
He's always got the horn.
So that is...
Phone boot camp.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I'm on day 5 of phone boot camp.
You have to go Pro to get it.
Right.
So today
How much is Pro?
I don't know.
So go settings and then...
Pro features.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got Pro, Johnny.
Well, click on Pro
Unlock
features.
Pro features for $3.99.
There we go, bargain.
Are you making me buy this? Right, okay.
You can do first 5 days for free.
How?
It says on the bottom. So today I'm 1 hour 21.
Today I'm 4 hours and 19.
Right.
6
You've
hours.
been in lectures though, haven't you?
2 hours in the morning.
Do you know, I think that my consistent on-screen phone time would be it's going to be like 9 hours every day.
What's your rescue time?
Yeah, rescue time's really
Do you
bad.
have rescue time?
What's that?
So it's the same thing,
Right.
but for your laptop, essentially.
No, rescue time I'll be absolutely fine on. Like, I compensate for my laptop work with my phone work.
We have to spend our time doing something, I suppose. So
I think if it's always screen time,
that's the bad
that's
thing.
bad, yeah.
Actually, the last podcast episode was about this. Just getting some data on
Was it?
what you're doing. I recorded one today.
Look at
So
that. I'm not even involved anymore.
that'll be
Just surplus to requirements, aren't you?
that'll be last week as of
Next
What
week.
happened to the 3 we recorded the other day?
they'll be 5, 4 and 3 weeks ago for those listening now.
5, 4 and 3. How can you think of that in your head?
Why
Because,
don't you?
like,
Why
is
don't
your-
you? Why don't you do like a double header one week? What if that happens?
We wouldn't do a double header. It would be quite hardcore. We've also got Kit Lachlan on the 5th of October, which is less than a month away. So
From now or from the date of the podcast?
from now, so he would come from.
But you can't say that for now, though.
because
God,
they're listening.
yeah.
We're in the future.
We've
now.
got Kit Lachlan 1 week ago.
Yeah, Kit Lockdown was ages ago. Man.
Oh, wow.
Keep up.
Wow.
People are going to be caught in this Inception.
This is
style.
Inception. This is what Inception's like, isn't it?
Podcast within a podcast within a podcast.
It is. It fucking is.
So if I tip,
Like a blue tick. Like a blue Scoby tick.
Just Scoby.
I made a sales page today, used Yusuf as a testimonial, and decided to call it Yusuf, creator of Scoby Pies. Don't know why, but still.
What does your
passionate.
life consist of between the two of you?
I think it consists of Johnny finding me as an entity quite
Really
quite
funny.
funny.
I think you find me as an entity quite funny. Like you watch a video of me squatting, which is intended as entirely serious, and you manage to find it from start to finish hilarious.
Yeah.
That's maybe it's perhaps just us sat with inappropriate responses to
Everything.
normal
Well,
things.
you bought a bike.
Yeah.
You on a bike is one of the funniest images.
So I think why is that funny? If we can.
So
we can
I
articulate
know
that.
why.
Why is it
But
funny?
you've lost the photo, haven't you? Do you know the photo I'm talking about?
So we can't feature it on the podcast.
Oh, I can't believe you got rid of that.
What's so funny about it?
So
Can I tell the story?
yeah, please do.
He got the beta version of the current iPhone software.
Right.
Is that right?
Yep.
Got it on his laptop and on his phone. And I think when he got it on his laptop, broke his space bar. So he had to.
So anytime you pressed space, it shut down the computer, which, as you can imagine, is like instantly really annoying. It
Yeah.
doesn't save anything. So you learn to like reflexively not use the space bar, or your thumb goes towards it. And you go, so, and then when you get the actual fix and the proper operating system, you've developed this Pavlovian
Like a tick.
aversion to
Yeah.
the space bar.
So your keyboard's like the Enigma code rather than the numbers it's meant to be. The letters. So
Can someone please bring this back to life?
I'm trying.
This is like the story from when
You know, you roll over cables. And it's
When
really
Johnny lost
unpleasant.
his
his wallet in the golf club and it had no bearing on anything else for the rest of the story.
Well, no, it did. I brought it back, didn't I? It was all about the fat capsules. Why I couldn't buy the fat capsules? Because I lost my wallet playing golf. Anyway, so the other thing that happened was your phone, the software on your phone, when you pressed something, took a photo of you.
Oh, okay. So there's two of these stories.
Oh.
Why does this happen? Right. So, I think there's two separate stories here. The first one is this was with an Android phone years ago. When you type in the passcode to unlock, if you put it in wrong, you can set up a thing so that it takes a photo with the front-facing camera.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then emails it to you immediately.
Oh my god.
So after a week, I found that I had this email chain from my phone.
Developed an album of 300
yeah.
photos
Well,
of you looking frustrated that you couldn't put your passcode in correctly.
Yes. All at
Fucking fat thumbs.
all at 6 a.m. as well.
Yeah.
So you're in bed like looking really angry.
Ghastly.
So you just get this like pounded. So it's almost like you made a mistake and your phone doesn't allow you to forget it.
You're just being punished.
Drives it into your. So no, the other thing was just the new iOS. It was when they introduced like sending a selfie from a text message.
Right.
I think.
It's when you flick. It's when you flick up, isn't it?
You're right. It wasn't.
It was something to do with iOS, the beta software.
So I did a 1,000-meter row as fast as possible because I'd just joined the rowing team and they wanted my time for it. So I did it, tried to take a picture of the screen, ended up taking a selfie by accident. And if you've ever done a 1,000-meter row, it's extremely hard. I think it's one of the hardest distances.
Can we please bring this back to Yusuf on a bike?
So okay, so
Circumnavigated the globe in the opposite direction to find him on a bike, and it was next door.
I've got it. I can explain to you in a more concise way
Yes,
why.
yes.
So
for mine and the listeners,
think of the face. Well, that's going to be harder. think of the face that Yusuf pulled while drinking the oat and fruit breakfast.
Yes.
If you're listening on iTunes, you'll have to find the episode.
Go
on
on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a similar face to that, but he's out of breath.
Okay.
And that was the face that was taken by his phone after having done the 1,000-meter row.
Right.
So when I think of Yusuf doing cardio,
Any cardio,
walking
quicker than a meander.
Suspended in
I
that
think
face.
I think of that face.
Okay.
So I think of him riding on his bike in shorts like that,
Tiny little shorts.
wearing his big helmet,
Yeah.
pulling that face, and that
Is why it's funny.
makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it funny for you?
I just think he looks silly.
Much quicker, that story. Why is it funny, Johnny? Well, iOS, the latest Apple software.
Let me tell you about the history of the old redwood trees.
I was convinced for the first 18 years of my life that I'd never seen a woman on a bike before. But then that's not meant to be funny. And then I saw broke the seal, saw my first woman on a bike at age 19, let's say. And then started seeing them everywhere. Johnny's almost spilled his Coke now.
Oh wow.
What I was worried about now is that maybe you have, but you don't register them because it's like when you never see learner drivers, and when you're learning to drive, you see learner drivers everywhere.
Right.
So maybe your brain just tunes into something once it recognises it, and that's what it was.
Is this like, is this a little bit like, is it the child in the Sixth Sense, where like he sees like, and you've now like gone behind a wall, and now you see them everywhere. Once you've seen your first one, like if you watch the tape from The Ring, and then the girl comes to get you, if you see like the one woman that's real, you see the ghosts of all other women who also ride. Because there's only one woman who rides a bicycle. That's a fact.
Oh,
There's only one woman in the world.
Yeah, and the rest of them are all just like holographs, aren't they? It's an Illuminati conspiracy.
No. So I've gone into the underworld.
You are, yeah.
There's a name for this phenomenon.
What?
So so think of when you are...
Oh, okay, not seeing women on bikes, as in...
Yeah. So before you got your car, I imagine you started seeing more and more of that car on the street. Mm-hmm. So it's... What's the... You must know
I know what you mean.
It's the equivalent of when you've hurt your toe, you then notice all of the times that you stub your toe on stuff because it highlights to yourself.
Yeah, not really.
Oh.
No, but sort of. Like you become more aware of seeing something.
Seeing your toe.
Like you see
toe all the time.
one lady on a bike and you're like, fuck, earth views completely shattered, and then you think that
game changer.
Everybody on a bike's a lady. How did the thought happen where you're like, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen a lady on a bike before. Did someone ask you a question?
That's a good point. I don't know. I think someone mentioned women's bike, and I thought, women don't ride bikes.
Don't wear bikes.
Do you know what? Something else is weird. I was absolutely convinced from the age of like 13 until the age of sort of 21, 22 that I'd had my longest ever wee when I was 13, and I remember this wee distinctly. and I was
I
absolutely.
wish you could get body stats like that.
Yeah.
Like Moment. If
It's all on the
get
pro version.
Longest ever wee.
Strava. If Strava can introduce like a thing for PBs,
Yeah.
longest wee, and
What's Strava?
like the what's that Run Keeper? Is that what it's
Oh,
called?
right,
But
okay,
for
okay.
bikes.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I was absolutely certain. It sticks in my mind to this day. Glorious.
So you were convinced, but did you disprove it, or that was it? You just
I've had some really long ones. Like,
What sort of volume do you think it would be?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know in terms of volume, but I know in terms of duration. Like 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
90, like at least 60 seconds to 90 seconds of like a constant stream.
That must be.
But not at a tremendous volume. But you know, like sometimes the shorter wees can be a little bit more sort of, the pressure's a bit higher.
So something that's interesting is before the era of phones, going for a wee would actually be quite a mindful act. So now most people are probably on their phones while they're having a wee.
So, interestingly, one of my tasks on iPhone Bootcamp within Moment is to have a phoneless toilet trip.
Which is surprisingly hard when you first do it. You think, I'm missing something.
But I think this, even though what you showing me? What's that say?
No phone in the bathroom.
No phone in the
It's
bathroom.
another pro.
Even
feature.
though we totally hadn't planned to discuss on this is probably, I'd say this is up there with one of the biggest obstacles that I have to try and overcome at the moment, which is getting off my phone. Unfortunately, my job and my lifestyle justifies me being on my phone a lot. Obviously, it's an enjoyable experience as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's a guilty pleasure, I think, scrolling through your news feed and then you flick between Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, you do YouTube, and then by the time that you've finished, you can flick back to that. But the problem is that because so much of my work goes through my phone as well, I find it hard to set myself a barrier of when I've finished, when I'm no longer doing work and I've passed over into that playtime or that unnecessary time on your phone, and the boundaries of when you're being productive and not productive become very greyed. And that is where, 9 hours of use on my phone may sound like a lot to a lot of people, and it absolutely is. A lot of that time will be spent working, but for every minute I spend working, I probably spend a minute not working.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the distraction, and unfortunately I think your phone is a much less focused device than being on a laptop. Sitting on a laptop a lot of the time, you might get distracted, but it feels like a work environment, doesn't it? That's what you're there to do.
Like, everything about it is designed to suck you in.
Yeah.
Like, there's red circles and
Flashing lights
noises, and the
yeah.
apps look really pretty, and like, you do the circuit, don't you? As you were saying.
Loop back around,
You're
yeah.
checking
Absolutely, I
message,
can literally go
email,
top
Facebook.
left of my
Yeah.
home screen, and I'll just work my way around in a spiral until I go to the middle, and then I'm done.
And by the time you're done, app number one has probably accumulated
Definitely.
5-10 more
Definitely. I mean, if
notifications.
anyone else here knows the curse that I do of WhatsApp groups, especially if you've got some talkable friends or if they're ones that you use for work, it can be crucifying. Now, I might be wrong here. I'm going to pick my phone up and see if I have got a lot of... Okay, so that's 38 just on my WhatsApp, so that's not a whole lot. That's
When
that's
was
only
the
from
last time you checked?
10 minutes ago.
Right.
That's only between two groups. But if you get a few going at
Only
once...
2 groups.
But I think this feeds back to what I'd said in the first podcast I did with you guys about having to set myself limits when I go to bed. Now, I know that
There we go.
that's
I've
not
turned all my
me.
notifications off.
But it's not on silent. Why is it not on silent? Who is it?
No, so I know what it is.
What is it?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
So
Blue light late at night is the sort of thing that will... You mouthing things off microphone still distracts me.
sorry.
It looked like you said crap.
Crap. No.
No, right.
Never mind.
Anyway, yeah, blue light late at night means that you are less able to sleep, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason that you have this flux thing on your phone now.
I'm
or
not
sunlight
100%
settings or
that
whatever it's called.
That Flux and the new iOS Flux equivalent is foolproof. And apparently, so I've just signed up for the Brian Johnson thing, who's just summarised all the data on sleep. And apparently, you have photoreceptors in your skin that also, so whether even if you're wearing an eye mask, or even if you protect your eyes from blue light when you're using screens and things before bed, you can still be affected by.
So if you fall
light
asleep,
coming in the
if you
window.
fall asleep watching the TV and you've got your eyes closed, facing the pillow, but the TV's on and your arms are out of the covers, your body's potentially going to...
Could do, yeah.
So here's the thing. Late at night, I don't think it's the screen for me. I think it's the level of stimulation. What can you enlighten me at all on why I'm not going to be able to sleep so well? Is there an natural volume of stimulation that is coming through my phone compared with what
absolutely.
we would evolutionarily be used to.
So there's some research on porn from TED, which is quite an interesting one.
That's what you were saying.
Possibly.
That's what you were mouthing just then.
No, that wasn't. But
Johnny, give it up.
Still trying to work
Like
it
a
out.
dog with a bone.
He'll tell you later, God.
I was actually just propositioning Johnny silently off the so yeah, there's some good research on porn which talks exactly about what you just said. So rewiring the reward centers to the idea that evolutionarily we've only been exposed to a finite number of sexual partners, and with the advent of porn, we're getting a big increase in the number of young men that have sexual dysfunction, depression, and kind of addictive style behaviors that wouldn't have been observed 50 years ago. And they think that because it's so uncommon with young men, they're looking at whether it's something to do with this desensitization of having this sudden increase in the amount of visual stimulation and novelty. And there's a study on rats where they found that if they introduced a new female rat into a cage with a male rat, its arousal response went up to a certain level. Introduced a new female rat and the arousal response went above that. Kept doing it, and then the arousal response would eventually go below baseline until the rats became desensitized to the novelty. And that also applies not only to that, but what you were saying about you can't go logically if you're going from 100% to sleep and you've been texting on your phone, and that's why Moment is so useful if it tells you when was the last time you used your phone before you went to sleep and as soon as you wake up. But I'm reading a book by Cal Newport at the moment, who writes a book, it's called Deep Work, highlights some research that constant attention switching has a lasting effect on your brain, where people who multitask all the time can't actually filter out irrelevant thoughts eventually, and so then working memory is affected. And so if you get chronically distracted, then larger parts of the brain that are irrelevant start getting mobilized when you're trying to do a simple task.
Well, if I'm honest, I think that definitely strikes a chord with what the issues are that I tend to face on a day-to-day basis. A lot of the time now, people walk into a room and, oh God, I forgot why I went in that room. That will happen to me if I'm having a bad day, like a non-present day where I'm not being tremendously mindful and I've got a lot on my mind. That will happen every half an hour, and I'll open up a page on my laptop, my phone will go, I'll look at my phone for 30 seconds, I'll go back to the laptop and I won't know why I was there. I'll look at the Facebook page and I'm like, I meant to schedule something, but what was it I meant to schedule? Shit, right, I'll just crack on. And that'll happen like 10 times a day.
It's the worst thing, feeling senile. And
It is,
the worst part about it is that the feeling remains of, I have to do something.
Yeah.
But you don't know how to solve it.
You're very anxious about it and stuff like that. But I think I've started to get a little bit better. And meditating's certainly helping me a little bit, being more present, trying to be more present, trying to be more mindful about things.
There's some evidence, I think, to say that like the instant notification world is reducing the work ethic of our generation. It's like if you transport back to our grandparents' generation, they very little in their life was I choose to do something and it's instant, it's there. Now, like, you want to find something out, you can find it out straight away. You want to message someone, you can do it instantly. Something goes off and you can solve that itch to look at that straight away.
Imagine writing an essay for uni when you had to go to the library, find the big index of journals, look at the page for the index, go and pick up the journal, flick through it, rather than just Google Scholar or something. And just
I think this is an interesting point especially about studying. Specifically for us, we employ a lot of students, young guys and girls, and especially the ones that I get exposed to are the ones who are probably the least studious, but the most in terms of partying. I'm going to guess that they're probably going to be quite susceptible to this sort of stuff as well. And some of these guys, when they get to exam period, they literally have to Frankenstein's monster themselves into a completely new person just to be able to deal with a little bit of memory retention, a little bit of sort of logical... Oh my God. Mate, that is the smallest little moth.
So I didn't see it. It crept into vision and it's coming towards me.
And the last experience you had in this room
was a wasp. So I'm thinking drowsy wasp coming
wasp?
Coming at me, bro.
Drowsy wasp.
Drowsy, yeah.
Is there like a number? Is that like a collector's edition? Drowsy wasp and silly wasp and
shiny.
Yeah.
It's really rare.
Yeah.
You don't hear Pokemon Go being talked about much.
Man, you know how fast the shares in Nintendo went up? It was like 20% overnight.
Really?
The shares, like, if you had
Because
money,
of Pokemon Go.
literally overnight, and then that was before, because it got released in like America, and people were patching their phones so that they could use it in the UK, and then it came out in the UK and everywhere else. But you're right, like it seems to have died off a little bit.
So speaking of concentration, this is a
Fitness podcast.
typical
Prime
example.
example,
Well, so what you said about the people that find themselves in a state where they have to rewire themselves quite quickly to study. That research that I just mentioned described some of the people who were mobilizing more of their brain than necessary to try and do simple tasks. They described them as mental wrecks, and it said that if you find it's hard to shake the addiction even when you want to concentrate by that point. And if every moment of potential boredom in your life, like having to wait 5 minutes in line or sit alone in a restaurant, is relieved with a quick glance at your smartphone, then your brain has likely been rewired to the point where you are a mental wreck. So
Interesting noise there, Yusuf.
Yeah,
It's your phone going, Yusuf, this time.
that's the one thing that gets let through, which is a phone call. I've just had to pie them.
I wonder if that person will be able to work out what time.
Maybe.
Well, no, because this is 5 weeks in the future.
Wow.
What if they do 5 weeks?
trace
What
it.
if they travel? What if they break through the door now? With Leonardo DiCaprio. Fuck off, Leo, yeah.
I think there'll be bigger things for us to talk about than the person who called Yusuf worked it out. It'll be why is Leonardo DiCaprio in the room? One of the things on my exclusive pro features on Moment,
I'm not impressed.
is one of the tasks which I was looking through these today actually. So like some of it's fairly basic, like stop putting your phone in your bedroom, put your phone down for 30 minutes, which is actually really difficult for me to do. Look at your phone 1 hour later than normal. Take all of your apps off your home screen apart from 12. But one of them is, where is it? Deep thinking. And it is literally go into a room with nothing and sit for 30 minutes by yourself.
Arguably, do we not get pretty close to that if you do meditation?
Yes, but 30 minutes is a long time.
Would it not be more difficult? Is a flip side of that. Meditating is doing something. It's a specific goal. That's like saying, right, okay, I've gone into a room with nothing. That room is the gym. But it's not. It's a mental gym for yourself.
Yeah, so
you can entertain yourself quite a lot with your mind.
With meditating, yeah, absolutely. As soon as you get in the rhythm of it, and as soon as you've listened to your noises around and you've got yourself settled, it's a pretty enjoyable experience.
You also have a target, like you're there for a reason. Whereas in this example,
if you told me to go and sit in a room and meditate for 30 minutes, I might get a little bit bored because I'm not used to doing it for that long. But I'd probably be able to do it. If you told me to go and sit in a room and just do something, I think I'd be climbing up the walls.
So Cal Newport talks about this idea that we should practice boredom. So like a lot of people probably find
from the same chapter,
that you, when you're waiting somewhere, I don't know why, the biggest example I can think of with this, whenever I've been with my girlfriend in Topshop, she's trying on clothes, outside the change rooms invariably is myself and 4 or 5 other guys. Everybody's on their phone.
Some really abrasive music as well,
Yeah,
which makes it worse, I think.
Everybody's on their phone, like just sat staring, don't look engaged, don't look excited at all. And he's saying that in those situations you should like keep your phone in your pocket and embrace the boredom and practice that. I think we're all so bad at being bored.
I think another problem is that apart from the fact it's commonplace now and everybody else has got their phone out, and it almost becomes weird if you're sat at a table and everyone else has got their phone out.
I've felt weird before, standing hands by my sides, not doing anything. So you think, okay, well, I'm, like, even if your phone screen isn't on, but then the problem is if someone catches you looking at your phone with the screen off, then
you're
going to think
like
that you're a
turbo
simpleton.
weird.
Yeah.
turbo weird. You look like a poser in the worst. So there's a Louis C.K., you might have seen it, where he's sat in the car and his kids are like, Dad, I'm bored, and he's like, shut up, like, you don't get to be bored. You've seen like 0% of the world, and even your mind goes on forever inwardly. So
he says this to his child.
Yeah.
How old's his kid?
Like 5.
Okay, yeah.
Kids never
How
get
does
to
this?
say
How
again.
does this go down?
They're just like, huh?
I think you're probably, unless it's an illusion, I think you've got your shit together the most with your phone. Like I know you've worked quite a lot at it, and I think probably I feel on a similar level. I'm maybe not quite as bad.
I am the worst person out of. I am around people who are bad with their phones, and I am the.
You're worse than that.
I'm the absolute pinnacle. Yeah,
I didn't want to say that you're the worst, but because I don't know.
I am. I'm patient zero. Like,
so what's interesting for me is I feel like I'm with like a Buddhist monk.
Yeah, on one hand.
And someone who's on death's door.
Like,
with
who's the guy from Wolf of Wall Street?
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort on the other side.
But the solution is like, you can turn it around and be quite aggressive with your approach towards boredom. So, for example, my flatmate had a very similar issue. I could even get him on the podcast at some point, where he tried the Muse headset, which is a portable EEG, measures your brain activity and gives you a percentage for how calm you are out of 100 in meditation. And he did it for the first time and got 1% calm.
Wow.
Which is the lowest. And when he saw that, Johnny's still getting attacked by a moth.
Why is it coming at me and no one else?
Because you've got the whitest hair.
Ah, right. So it thinks it's a light.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, he's he was disgusted by that. He sort of recoiled at the fact that he got 1%. He's like, right, I'm doing something about it. And so he's dived in immediately to do something called the presence process, which is a 10-week, quite intensive Vipassana style meditation thing. So yeah, he's done that. He's on to week 6 now. Categorical improvements in him. I haven't retested his EEG, which I'll do that.
David,
week 10. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that what we're talking about here is a little bit less to do with presentness and mindfulness and more to do with habits. I think a lot of this is just what's that word beginning with I?
Instinctive.
No, idio. Is it? If I was to do it like a habit and I just sort of sit there flicking my phone like this.
Idiosyncrasy.
Is that what it is? Is that the word I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I think it's very habitual. And my point is that when I went away to Thailand, I wasn't on my phone much. I turned my data roaming off, so I didn't take my phone out with me. When I didn't have my phone out with me, I didn't itch to use my phone.
So was there no temptation to?
Not at all. Not in the slightest. I was out. I was talking to people. I would stand and quite happily look, out into the distance. But I was surrounded by beautiful landscapes. I was always in sunny environments. There was things to do and people to see and different experiences to enjoy. And I'd spent 4 weeks, pretty much the lion's share of 4 weeks, without my phone. I was out of the habit of using my phone. And the second that I came back to the UK, it turns back on because I'm in that situation again where I need to work, therefore I need to use my phone, therefore I need to So I don't think...
So it's an environmental trigger that's
exactly
kind of sending you back to it. I
exactly
suppose like one way to look at it is you furnish your mental landscape with as beautiful things as well, and then it means that you no longer have to have this kind of crap substitute, which is looking for the little mini highs by looking at your phone. But that's obviously quite a long task to do.
So there's an app for that, isn't there?
There's an app, yeah.
I actually think that it's a result of the world we live in being very extrinsically motivated, and everybody's looking for like wealth or fame or notoriety. Everyone wants to be liked or popular, and your phone is a center that drives your needs and desires.
It's a megaphone. It's a megaphone for your lifestyle, isn't it? And we're looking to capture. There's a really funny video that Eric Prydz posted from Creamfields, and it's of an unbelievable drop. Eric Prydz, well-known DJ, if you don't know who he is, he played at Creamfields. He had his own tent, which is a huge arena, and he's playing as one of his monikers, which is Cirez D, and he's known for massive production, huge lasers and lights. Everybody knows it's the biggest drop in the entire set, and there's a guy who's taking a video, and it's just a sea of white lights. It's of the stage at the far end of the video, and it's just a sea of white lights of everybody recording it on their phones. Yeah. And someone re-uploaded it and said, glad to see that the Rio Olympics phone holding contest went off without incident.
What is he trying to achieve there by holding his phone up and filming it?
What's everybody trying to achieve?
Yeah.
I think that they want to keepsake, isn't it? It's look at what we've done. Because the first thing that they'll do is upload it, then they'll get the likes, then it's the validation of I was there, then it's the self-branding.
Right, so they're chasing a feeling. So they're in a situation where it's engineered to be a good feeling.
Yes.
And instead...
And they're chasing a different one.
Chasing a different one, substituting it for like a little bit of validation from people that they kind of know.
Well, do you not think... Here's an interesting one. I'm not going to use an example, but there's a couple of guys that we've spoken about, and girls as well, who are starting to... I'm getting to the age now where people are starting to do meditation a lot more. And meditation, as you, Yusuf, have said to me, someone who is significantly more experienced in it than I am.
I'm just for the record, I'm being depicted as this absolute like Jedi
Zen master,
and I'm
Well,
sure there are people
you've
listening.
read a lot more about it at a higher level than most people.
Reading isn't.
No,
but you also practice it more than all of us.
into it. So, in the same way that
I'm just aware that so there's at least one person I'm thinking of who is listening, who does between 4 and 6 hours a day, and is just absolutely relentless with it. So he's going to be thinking, this guy's an absolute
what a noob.
Yeah.
just because there are people who are more knowledgeable than you does not make you.
Johnny's a strong powerlifter
Not
just because
knowledgeable.
he's not Eddie Hall. Is it Eddie Hall?
Yeah.
He's strong. He's a strong person.
He's very strong, but so
Yeah.
are you. Anyway,
scalar.
my point was that you getting to this age now, as people are starting to get away from the sort of partying lifestyle and away from what you would immediately consider as those sort of 21st century pleasures, and moving into more meditation, more mindfulness. But as we identified the other day when we were having a chat, there's so many people who are now using their mindfulness and their meditation as their own source of personality, and they're shoving it down people's throats with these like morning poses of a hazy looking sunrise as they're sat on a rock peering off into the distance wearing nothing but hemp and
Spiritual materialism.
there it is.
And it's partly why I don't want to get the label of the meditation guy, because
We're labelling you, so.
first of all I don't feel I deserve it, and secondly it would just kind of, it reinforces like an identification with something which is the whole purpose of it is to de-identify,
to not have that compulsion.
So I've just found another quote as well which ties in with that, which is to switch constantly from low stimuli high value activities to high stimuli low value activities at the slightest hint of boredom or cognitive challenge teaches your mind to never tolerate an absence of novelty.
So we're just constantly
You're chasing
always
that.
have novel stimulus that we're trying to get rid of, but it's difficult to do. There's something that Cal Newport talks about and Brian Johnson talks about, is this idea that like at a point in the day you just off.
Shut down routine.
Yeah, laptop off, phone off, and you go and do something else. And I've tried to do that a few times.
Do you not think that going to the gym is that?
A little bit, but so I have my phone with me because it's my music.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I have a iPod Shuffle that's a little clip that's literally the circle with the play button in the middle. So I can't really even browse music. I don't even have a screen to look at, and that clips onto my collar.
So that's
And
quite
it
interesting.
just
So I
goes-
used to do that.
Release.
Well, this is from someone who is an addict with his phone. That
So
is
you leave your phone at home?
No, I leave it in the car.
That's pretty good.
I used to. This is another reason why complicated programs, Johnny, can be difficult, because I need to be able to memorize them.
It's all become clear now.
I have to be able to memorize them. So I've done different ab routines and this, that, and the other. And when there's difficult rep progressions that I can't remember, it becomes troublesome, because the only other option is for me to take a piece of paper in. Because if I take my phone in, I'll stop. My training it'll be decreased by like 20%. Like I for listeners,
I'm going to leave my phone next time I train.
Yeah,
we might as well.
Like, so I'm going to buy an iPod Shuffle.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose so. For the listeners, for me to talk a little bit about fitness and to big these guys up, I've never really been into lifting that heavily. And we went to Pinnacle Gym in Brunswick near Gosforth. Johnny and Yusuf spoiled everybody's party by walking in and breaking the club records in every weight category in terms of lifts, and then spent about two minutes coaching me for me to pull a 140 kilo deadlift, which is an equal PB, because I've never really done it before. And then every week since then until now, I've pulled a 10 kilo PB. So I'm up to 170 now after 4 weeks.
170 looked like a warm up the other week.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely more.
There's a
stuff,
video.
which is
You
great.
got a video?
Yeah.
I'm wearing some small shorts in that video.
Oh, ideal. I think people will love
Shorter
that.
than Yusuf shorts, no.
They're pretty short.
Are they?
But yeah, like, and for that, that was me. If I'd had my phone on and I was focusing on stuff like that, like, and there's no way that I could go into the gym and
Still
focus
take
to that level of that I need to be able to pick up whatever 300 pounds of weight or whatever it is.
Go on, no, go on.
Something that you mentioned just about the shutdown routine before we go on. You said that when you were working in an office, you found it a lot easier to shut down.
So something I was going to say was, I think that the three of us are probably a bit unique in that our business life and social life is linked to one device. What did you say about me? Well, miming off camera. Off camera?
I wasn't doing anything then.
Chris was just offering me some water very kindly.
I wasn't doing anything.
I thought you were asking for water.
Garçon?
So, the thing I find strange is when, and this is going to sound critical, it isn't, but if you don't have, like, if your phone is, like, exclusively personal, so your Facebook is just photos of your mates, like, what is so addictive about it? I can't appreciate that, but what I tend to check is...
I agree, because I think a lot of, well, for all of us, it seems like it's because it's tied into work and you feel like you have to check it, that almost justifies the checking it out of the compulsive need for it. I think that this just mixed in.
I think this compulsion thing again feeds back to something else which I'm struggling with, and I don't know whether other young entrepreneurs, young businessmen struggle with it as well, which is sometimes if you're having a bad day, if I was having a bad day about 10 years ago, what I would do is I'd go to the gym. When I was 18 years old, I'd go to the gym because I'd know that no matter how bad my day went, I'd gone to the gym, which meant I'd taken myself one step forward. Now, I think that I've started to cushion myself from those bad days by plugging work a lot, by spending so much time engrossed in work that I almost think it whitewashes whether it's been a bad day, whether I've not performed at work, whether the actual output of my day has been poor. There's so much of it, there's such a massive volume that I think, oh well, it doesn't matter, like think about how long you spent in the office today. And I see myself doing it. Last night was a perfect example. 1 a.m, I put a status up saying that I was leaving the office. Who's that for? Like,
I saw that.
Maybe to an extent it's for like some of the managers that work like that are our staff, to remind them that they were on a night out and I was getting stick for having bailed on the night out, and I wanted to justify, fuck you, I've been doing some work, enjoy your night out, you dicks.
But I think you're again different because your personal brand online matters. Like I think,
that makes it even more of a compulsion.
It does,
because every new follower and being the social media manager for our different networks as well means that I'm constantly checking not only mine, feedback, how's this video gone down, how many attendees has this particular event that we've released got. It's spread over so many different social networks, so many different media, so many different forms, so many different channels, and it becomes pretty unrelenting. And I honestly think that until it gets to the stage where I can slot someone else in to take all of the social media off my hands, I've kind of just accepted that it's damage limitation now for myself.
Is there any way you can batch process it or do it within a window of time, or does it have to be constantly
No, because the feedback will only come as and when it does. If I get a message that is a reply on Twitter about something that happened last night, even Facebook now, Facebook Pages has got that button for fan pages that shows your fans that you're a fast replier. But I think you need to average an under 5-minute response time. So the only way that I can do it is to slot other people in who can take the task off my hands, which for the first time I'm doing this year. But I think the thing that you could take away from this across the board is that you can justify spending a lot of time on your phone quite easily. I've just tried to do it there, but building yourself barriers and making yourself into a confined space, a confined usable time.
So something that Johnny's been trying, and I've not had the gall to do it yet, which is Sundays going offline.
Not be going well.
Oh man,
wow.
Yeah. And I imagine not going well because of the fear that things will blow up.
Well, do you remember the conversation that we had on Friday? No, you were a bit drunk.
Maybe
you were a bit drunk. So I was having a similar conversation with my business partner who's from Leeds, and I was saying, how are you getting on with the build up to freshers? It's quite intense at the moment. Oh yeah, it is. Every so often I try and go and just watch TV for half an hour in the living room, and I leave my phone in the kitchen. But I find that I'm more stressed because I'm in the living room and my phone's away, and I start shitting myself about what's going on my phone.
Wow.
But that is a particularly hectic time that's driven for business. But I think that in minor sort of small quantities, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, it feeds back into everything, doesn't it?
I think that I've experienced stuff like that before. Like I'll know we're doing something specific, and I'll be out and my phone will run out of battery, and I'll be like, oh god, the thought of when I get back in and plug my phone in, how many notifications it's going to be to deal with. But that's probably, I don't imagine most people have that feeling towards their Facebook, for example.
I'd be interested to find out what it is like for people who aren't running their businesses through their phones. If someone is doing something where there are a more finite set of start and end times.
So I've worked with a few clients on this. So annoyingly, I understand a lot of the theory behind it. I really struggle to apply it to myself. But there's one guy in particular who has, like, his phone is purely social. He has separate work stuff, and he leaves his work phone, work laptop at work. Like, that's company policy. So when he's at home, I got him to, you can put into your phone like a password to block all browsing, so you can't get on the internet on your phone. You can't use Safari on your phone. So his wife has done that. She has the password, and I got him to delete the Facebook app. And then a successful day is a day that he doesn't re-download the Facebook app. So simple. So like it's limited during the day because he's got at 5 p.m. he leaves work, and when he leaves work he has to finish his work. So there's already a limitation how often he can be on Facebook, and then in the evening it's really difficult for him. So he tells me that he's found that transformative, but he's clearly not feeling if I did that, I'd be worrying about the messages I could be getting that I need to respond to, the things that accumulate.
I think what you've done, Yusuf, is the single best way that I think you could... The most chronic waste of time on any social media is newsfeed browsing, for me.
So what you've done scares me.
Why?
So just to clarify, I've got rid of my newsfeed on Facebook. Haven't got a Facebook app on my phone, and I've disabled all notifications on all devices, which was a bit scary for the first couple of days, but now I've realised nothing does blow up.
Have you got is your messenger on your Facebook? So if someone okay, maybe that's that I think that would just be too much for me.
But I think for me, Facebook Messenger is a very low priority thing.
Okay, you've not got either staff or client contacts through that, very rarely.
If they do, then it's not the channel that's
dedicated to
it's not expected to be an instant reply or whatever. Okay, yeah, versus for me, WhatsApp,
so I check Facebook messages once a week on Saturday evening. I schedule it in half an hour, and I just go through and batch Facebook messages. Notifications come in probably.
So that's why you never used to reply to me when we had a Facebook message group.
But iMessage is the best way to get in contact with me.
So I find iMessage to actually be quite difficult to keep on top of. So
do you have a lot of iMessages?
I get iMessages from people, I get WhatsApps from people, and then I'll have emails, Slack, Facebook Messenger. So there's all those things that accumulate at different rates, and sometimes like a WhatsApp group will go, and I'm out of the loop, or I forget that someone's messaged me on iMessage.
The problem with iMessage is you can't remark as unread.
Yeah,
which is my way of flagging shit.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it as.
But I think that not having the newsfeed to me just sounds like such a fantastic tool. Like, imagine if you didn't waste time watching fucking dog videos or like shit articles from BuzzFeed and stuff like that.
The only downside so far is like if a friend gets married and I don't find out for 2 years.
So there's that side of it as well. Do you like football? So I don't like football. You don't like football. And when I'm in a group of people,
foot game.
What?
Foot game. Game foot. Yeah.
What?
He's making a joke.
He's making a joke. In the shorts and the ball.
I thought I'd said foot game, and I was like,
did I say that?
And then when I said foot game, he went, no, I don't know foot game. I was like, right, that's it. We're gonna have to talk about that now. So usually conversations in groups of men, and this is very stereotypical, but they're usually sport or football.
Oh, we've been relegated from the Premiership.
Yeah. And I just cannot. I cannot contribute. I'm like, how many hoops did we score? And so I can't say anything. But then if something comes up of like, have you seen on Facebook this blah blah blah? And I'm like, no, I'm weird in that as well. I also
strange in that regard.
I also don't have a news feed. So it's for me.
Are you afraid that that's 2 out of 3 strikes there?
I think there's certain things that you almost have to just keep your foot in the door to maintain a little bit of.
Would it be nice to have like a zeitgeist tape? We could get a personal assistant
to summarise
my Facebook news feed into an hour.
So you watch Peep Show? You seen Peep Show?
Yeah.
You know the episode where Mark looks up at the covers of like FHM and GQ. So he'll look up on different websites, like he reads Nuts and Zoo and takes notes on key themes. So he's like, footballer, key person of ridicule, like must reference this, and then has like this awfully fudged conversation with the guy in a pub, and I just feel like that's what it would end up being.
So I know a surgeon that does that. He's not interested in football, but to have some initial ground to discuss with his patients, he like keeps on top of scores and things. I think if it's a trade-off between being a bit weird at a party because you're not up to date with I don't watch TV. I don't think either of you do really. No. So when people are discussing Great British Bake Off,
which to be fair it appears to be pandemographic, taking the entire nation by storm.
Yeah, so you are at a disadvantage there if you don't know, but
so
you're spending your time.
Are we weird then?
Well, I like so people listen to the podcast, so clearly there's something.
Well, there could be like a novelty factor of seeing like a dog that's got 5 legs or something like that.
Maybe that's why people listen.
Oh, dance, monkeys, dance.
Like, people like watching Big Brother, don't they? It doesn't mean that the people in Big Brother are necessarily interesting or normal.
Wow. So all this time we've actually just been
Sideshow
circus. Right, we're running up to 46 minutes now, so can we get some top tips from everyone and then wrap this up?
Jeez. There's no more would you rathers?
I'd have to. I think we would better save it for next time.
Oh, come on!
Oh, Johnny's digging one up.
I'm gonna run out of battery. I'm on my phone.
Okay, well, so while Johnny's
in terms of top tips, I think if I'm honest, I'm still kind of waiting to hear what you guys have got to say. Every time that I hear you, the only reason that I downloaded the Moment app was because of the recommendation from yourselves. The only things that I can do that I've realised make my life better is when I can leave my phone somewhere entirely. I honestly don't think that it's going to help with habit breaking. I don't think it's going to make you be any better with your phone, but you're without your phone, which I think at least in part is going to help. So if you've got an opportunity to do something where you know that you're not going to need it, 45 minutes in the gym, you do not need your phone. Buy like an iPod shuffle that I'm talking about is like 30 quid or 40 quid, and it's class. You can use it for running, you can do this, that and the other, and you will not need your phone in the gym. For me, that's a good place to start, especially considering pretty much everyone who listens to this podcast is going to lift.
That's a great lesson that I've learned from you today. I'm going to leave my phone at home next time I go to the gym. There's no need for it. You're right.
So something that I've done, which is kind of a bigger thing altogether, is I bought a shit phone. Did I tell you about my shit phone on Friday?
No.
So I bought a basic phone, like the most basic phone that can exist. So it does calls and SMS. And this is from someone that we follow who is in like the stock trading world. Really clever guy. And he has a YouTube video called 10 Tips for Financial Success. One of those things is just ditch a smartphone completely. And he's saying he loves technology, loves all that stuff, had the latest BlackBerry, the latest iPhone, got rid of it all. And even his laptop is Sony with like basic features, like it does Excel, email. And he says it like triples or doubles your productivity. So I haven't used it yet, but I own one ready to try. Because I kind of think that with this stuff, you can download whatever you want and set your notification settings to whatever. But
if you're
ultimately,
using apps to fix the problem of
exactly. I also think like, especially with us, there's such a draw to it because anything could have happened.
But do you think
it's difficult in your situation as well, Chris? Because I think your attachment is unique in that there's certain things that you can't sever. You can't disable notifications. You can't get rid of your newsfeed because that itself is tied into the work.
Yeah.
But I think that's quite a.
So even if you had one day per week or one afternoon per week where, like what I'm planning to do with the shit phone, is either have a new number and I give like a small group of people the number that I know that if something goes up in flames in an area of my life, that person can ring me and let me know everything's burning to the ground. Or I'll just swap my SIM card. But I think swapping my SIM card might just create the same problem, but just with like a over and over again, which would be worse.
Yeah.
But I just think if you haven't got it with you, like if you imagine you went out for the day and you just didn't have your phone.
How often do things burn to the ground when you're out away?
So not that often, but there have been instances where I haven't checked my phone, and when I have, there's been like a horrible thing has unfolded. So like, can you think of a few? Like, there's been a few emails that have been not that nice to deal with, and had I left it, it probably would have got a bit worse.
certainly a lot of time sensitive stuff that we deal with.
Yeah.
The sort of thing, if we've got a DJ booked for that evening at one of our events and his flight's delayed, like we
That's
need
a bad
we
situation.
need to tell the customers we need to rebook his flight, we need to do a million other things, and time is of the essence there. And that level of intensity is something that justifies a more neurotic approach.
So I suppose you've
to
got to do a
using
cost
the phone.
benefit then and say aggregate all the times that there's a single disaster that was time sensitive and you missed out on for 6 hours, and compare that to the long, torturous
Low level.
But by the same token, I'm my own worst enemy. I know the days when that's going to happen, or when there's an option for that time. We don't have a big DJ booked all the time. We don't. I'm not always waiting for messages from the guys.
So you can strategize then. You can say, I'll have my phone on this day in case X, Y, Z.
Because this is the thing all of us are saying, well, maybe not so much you, but we're saying, like, we have this issue, we're dealing with this issue where we feel quite dependent on phones. And then as soon as we start thinking about not using it, we start telling ourselves all these stories about why
you do need it. And listen to us.
And
We're
so
literally sat here all justifying why we need our phone.
Exactly.
Oh, but I can't do that because...
Yeah, but precisely.
Well,
You can't, because you're Mr. Zen.
So you can get do not disturb mode on iPhones. I don't know whether Android has this, but you can set certain VIPs to
They can get through. You
overcome
can also
the-
have a thing where if someone rings twice,
Okay.
within I think it's like a minute or so.
So do not disturb is...
Moth attacking
No,
Johnny
it's on
once
the
again.
right.
I don't know what it was. I got like a cold feeling running down my back. Awful. Do not disturb is dealing with the interruptions. What it isn't dealing with is the internal cycle of...
If you come and
Yeah,
check
so
it yourself.
if my phone is there and it's on do not disturb, if I'm doing something, yes, I won't check it when I get a buzz, but I will probably, my attention will lapse and I'll...
Actually, there's
And
a
I'm
there's a
sucked in.
very good point. So my only two pieces of advice: one of not having it in the gym, and the second one of always putting it face down.
That's a good idea.
Because
I think different room.
I think different rooms too difficult. Let's take it one step at a time, shall we?
Okay.
But I think for a lot of people, let's say that you sat at a meal, inevitably you're going to take your phone out and you don't keep it in your pocket, especially as a guy, you're wearing jeans. Take it out of your pocket, you put it on the table, just put it face down. If it's on silent, or even if it's not on silent, the vast majority of your notifications, no one's got a buzz on that happens every time you get a Facebook notification. It would drive you insane.
Oh, there are people.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, they must have
Yeah. Interesting life.
loud lives.
It's quite rude though, because it means that someone is getting priority who's taking a lower effort way to get in touch with you. So I don't know if you've ever been in a shop and you go to the checkout and then you're about to order something and then someone calls and they spend 5 minutes talking to a customer while looking at you, and you're thinking, I've bloody come into the shop to go and speak to you, and this person's just sat in their own home. So yeah, from that perspective as well, I think being able to just be with someone probably pays off big dividends as well in just being able to be present with someone.
Two more things on the moment thing. I know I keep harping on about it, but it is really good. Two things it does. One is, like, whenever you want to get in touch with someone, ring them. So don't WhatsApp them or iMessage them or Facebook them. Give them a call, have the discussion, 5 minutes, end. Because text conversations tend to suck you in, especially iMessage. Like, it's worse. There used to be...
You know what would happen if I rang my business partner?
Oh,
The first thing he would do is say,
text me.
"Why are you ringing me?"
Okay. Maybe.
But that's because of the expectation. That's
Yeah,
set
that's
up.
been formed
So,
over.
Darren, we're going to change the nature of our relationship, and
Because Johnny told me.
because Johnny told us to.
Cause
I got
he's got pro membership.
beautiful Teesside dulcet tones. Who wouldn't want to hear this every day?
Well, the second part of that is go back to when mobiles were mobiles and someone got a phone call and they were in a room with people. Typically, when you get a phone call, you'd leave the room. If there's a group of people talking, you got a phone call, you'd leave the room. When there's a group of people talking now and you get a message, people pick up the phone and like they're in another conversation with someone else while there are two other people sat talking, or three, whatever. I honestly think, and I'm saying it, but I'm not doing it because it is really difficult, but I think, like, if you want to really axe it and get rid of the issue, just get rid of your smartphone. Get a basic phone. And think of the things that will actually go wrong. Probably not that bad. You're maybe the only person that perhaps doesn't apply to.
There will be a bunch of other industries, I'm sure, where
That-
people are
They
chronically,
need their phone.
yeah, all the time.
So you could have a personal phone and a work phone. We could have a...
I
No?
don't think so. No, because it's the amount of time that I need my phone for all its functions. It is 100% or 0% as for me, really. It's very rare that I just need emergency calls. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It is if I require my phone, it's because I need to do everything on it. And if I don't, then I don't really need it at all, because I'm out walking the dogs with my mum, or I'm at a football match with my dad, or I'm doing whatever. Like,
so I think my tip is give Moment a go. Big fan of, like, if you want to change something, measure it. So probably, as it's been the case for Chris and I, big shock when you track how long you're actually on your phone.
I was very, very surprised to see 9 hours of
26% of my waking life I spend on my phone.
What's 9 out of 24? Like 40 or something like that?
I'm not doing
40.
that. At
37%, yeah.
37.
So every 13 minutes I check my phone.
I need to upgrade to Pro.
You do. I think I've made a sale. For
So
Moment.
so Moment, phone face down, don't take it with you when you go into the gym.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I really like that one.
That is good. And then Johnny's tip: either get rid of your phone entirely, nuclear option.
Well,
Get
get a basic phone.
Get a basic
And
phone.
I think if you're...
Could you not just have the existing phone and get rid of the apps?
You can, but it's the same thing. Like, how hard is it to get an app?
I think it's quite difficult.
Heroin addict, giving a
Like, if someone's a heroin addict, it's like saying, don't use heroin, I'm just going to leave it on the table.
But
don't use it.
Here's another one for me. I will not break my diet if the food isn't in the house. I could go to the shop, there's a 24-hour Asda next to my house, but that's like conceding defeat. That is like me having to get up and go to Asda, whereas having the app still on my phone is like them being in the cupboard.
So I agree with you, but there'll be a scenario where, like, you'll get a text from someone going, just invite you to a Facebook group, and you'll be sat on your couch watching TV, and you'll be like, I'll just download it. And then before you know it,
You're sucked back
3
in.
days later, you've done nothing but sat
You and Leonardo DiCaprio are being chased through the streets of New York.
in some dog video online.
Yeah.
Someone actually, funnily enough, on Facebook, that I saw this early today, but he shared a video that was 13 minutes of, like, a guy skateboarding or something really basic. And the thing he said was, like, I won't watch 30 minutes of this, ... I just watched 30 minutes of this, ... And, like, the way the Facebook app is designed is, like, you watch one video and it immediately
Everything's autoplay, even
it
YouTube's
starts
autoplay
throwing
now.
you things that it thinks you might like, and they're all a bit funny, and they're all a bit... Like, there's the video I sent you to about the guy who can't pronounce the pastry thing. Did you watch that?
No.
Did you watch, like... it's rare that a Facebook video has me, like, laughing out loud at it, but that video is comedy gold.
You're more likely to watch several 30-second videos in a row, probably for 20 minutes, than if you saw a video that said 20 minutes long.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And-
warning, this is 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not going to waste 20 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
So
I'll waste
silly.
30 seconds of my life 40 times.
Yeah.
So that's my tip, really, that you taking from the inside out. We know that that's the tendency of the mind to look at fragmented attention, and so don't just to start to be aware of your fragmented attention, not to learn to unwire your brain in that way, and use any of those urges to check your phone as a platform to dive into that discomfort and to notice when it's coming up, explore it fully, dive into it fully. You know, you two are not afraid of hard work, so it's not a case of, like, discipline. It's a case of, like, the thing comes up and there's a feeling of, this is unpleasant, I want to quickly bat that away. And I'm by the way, I'm not saying I'm immune to this at all. Like, I definitely get it.
But the data says different.
Scientific method.
You've looked at...
He say Zen master.
Yusuf been checking your phone all day. No, but you haven't. You've looked at it for an hour.
Yeah.
So I've looked at mine for 4.5, and you were...
It'll be 7 by now.
Data says less, but I think an hour is still an hour too long.
So you're like, you came third in the IPF Worlds and you're trying to win.
Well, I'm leaving the heroin on the table.
And I'm just trying to squat to death for the moment. Chris is still doing cross training 3 times a week.
Those bums and tums classes are going to get me and Eddie Hall.
It fascinates me how you can have your phone. So if we look at all of us now, everyone's got their phone within a metre of them.
I still think it's shameful that I have to have my phone near me. Like,
But you don't...
It's shameful.
I'm just throwing it 10
don't-
centimetres further away.
You don't have to have it there because you clearly aren't connected to it in the same way as we are.
No.
You don't have the same draw.
Well, follow those tips that you've heard in
I
today's
think
episode.
it's because you're weird.
I don't think that either of us are in a position to call Yusuf.
Maybe it's inverse. So the higher the score, the less weird you are.
Yeah.
So the goal is 23 hours on Facebook, 1 hour of sleep.
That's the ultimate goal. We can get to the
that's
super
master
normal.
status.
That's 1 hour too little.
Wasting valuable Facebook time.
Have you got a would you rather for us?
No.
Oh no.
Right, let's dig up. We've just broken an hour and 2 minutes. I'm going to do a quick would you
Everyone
rather.
will be deep into Facebook videos by now.
I
They'll stop
know.
listening.
I'm going to find 30 minutes of a man's skateboard.
Maybe we should break this up into 3 minute podcasts.
Are these your pajama pants?
PJs.
They are the same material and pattern and almost colour as your bed sheets.
It's confusing sometimes.
It's so when the men come in the middle of the night to get him, he's camouflaged.
Okay, yeah.
I have an image now in my head of you using the towel as a duvet.
Yeah, I might have to. I am
It is
roasting.
warm tonight.
So we're in Yusuf's bedroom. Is it still recording?
Yep.
We're in Yusuf's bedroom and it is boiling hot. So Yusuf's strategy is to sleep under. That's going to cover maybe 2/3 of you, that towel.
Well, the alternative is this lumberjack's jacket of a duvet that he's got.
I would just sleep on top of the duvet.
I can't sleep without having I need a colour.
need to be-
I need to have something, even if it's a single sheet. You know, like you get in sort of foreign holiday home type things. Like
It's like a human need, isn't it, to be
I need
under something.
something. It has to be something.
Okay, would you rather die in 12 hours or be immortal for the next 20,000 years? So
It's got to be the immortal one.
Yeah.
But there's unpleasant parts to that, isn't there?
if you're immortal, your current age and health are locked in. You won't suffer any debilitating effects of old age, but you can't die of any means. If the world is nuked, you get to enjoy the next 20,000 years wandering a wasteland. Should the Earth cease to exist, you will float aimlessly in space.
Give me 20,000 years.
Yeah, you're right. That presupposes a lot of you don't need to eat because you couldn't die of starvation. Your health is locked in. Your age is locked in. There's so much extra perks with the 20,000 years.
Absolutely. That's not a very difficult would you rather.
But so let's say so everybody you know within 100 years will be dead.
Yeah.
You have to make new mates every 100 years.
Yeah.
Which would be annoying.
Yeah.
Think of all the new Facebook profiles you have to set up.
I know. Well, I've already hit my maximum friend limit as well, so I'd be fucked.
But you're not.
You're laughing at another would you rather.
Yeah.
So I think the short time one is too little because there's stuff I'd like to do
But that you can't complete within
prior
12
to death
hours.
that would be. I'm not saying I can't. I'm saying it's a struggle. No, I would be able to. It always worries me when he laughs because it means it's above like most people's threshold. Like I better not say that. So yeah, 20,000 years.
Give me 20,000 years. What? What is it?
If the world gets nuked, I'll deal with it. Come on, you start.
The other one is, would you rather be forced to say "milady" every time you address every time you address a woman, or yell "I'm an atheist" as loud as possible every time someone says "God bless you"?
It's got to be
It's
the God
less
bless you.
frequent that people
It's
say
how
bless
often do people say God bless you?
True.
If you walk down Northumberland Street,
The problem is the people who say God bless you.
Would be more offended.
Yeah, but hopefully because of their religious beliefs wouldn't be violent towards you.
I'm gonna flip this on its head again. How about you are able to craft yourself a persona whereby the milady thing works to your advantage, and you are like Sir Yusuf Smiley Mouth, President of Wilmsbottom. Oh, milady. And hi Yusuf, how are you? How are you, darling? Has it been alright? Oh, yes, it has. It's a very good afternoon, isn't it? Should we go down to the quayside
So he has to
for a
speak-
cup of Lady Grey?
You have to maintain President of Wilmsbottom.
Yes.
All the
Personality
time.
the whole time.
My
Lord
flatmate-
Snooty Pants.
I know somebody who's he's from Trumpington, and I thought that was it was my flatmate, and the other flatmate was like, "Oh, you're all right, Mr. Trumpington," and I thought that was just like a made up place to take the piss out of him, but it's actually where he's from.
Wow.
Would you rather have 3 kids and no money, or no kids and 3 money?
you'd be bringing up 3 kids with 0 money.
Yeah.
Which would be in some ways unfair on the kids.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to give them a quality of life, would you?
Something I'm enjoying about the way so Chris has been leaning against a wall with pillows. he's gradually slipping further and further away because the bed is on wheels, and so now
This fucking thing's on casters and it's a varnished floor.
it's a varnished floor. He's hanging on for life at the moment.
It's been slowly getting worse, hasn't it?
It has. I think before Chris falls over into the abyss, we better leave it there. Hope that was useful
Leave it.
and enjoyable, and speak to you next
And
week.
get off your phone.
Goodbye.
Get off your phone.